Hello chess friends! In this video I'm going to show you exactly what it takes to defeat Stockfish, one of the world's strongest chess programs, in a 3-minute blitz game. This game comes from a series of games in which I made Stockfish play against itself because I wanted to see just what kinds of things it was missing at this time control, and whether or not it was something that a human being could even hope to spot. Most of these games ended in draws, but there were a few examples where either side won. And in this example that I'm about to show you, I'm going to give you a chance to find all the winning moves to defeat Stockfish. So we're going to get right into it. In this position, Stockfish with the black pieces, playing against Stockfish, blundered with the move Queen to e6, which brings us to your opportunity to spot White's first move of a winning sequence. If you're a very strong player and you only want to take a few seconds to spot this move, to simulate the time controls in a blitz game, you may, or if you want to take more time, that's fine too, it's up to you. But it's White to move. How do you win? This winning sequence begins with the move Rook to d6, attacking the queen, sacrificing the exchange. Bishop takes d6 is what happened in the game. What should White do next? Of course, we replace the rook with another rook so that the queen is still under attack. Now from this point, what happened in the game was Queen to e7. The rook takes c6, which is not very hard to find, grabbing a pawn with a discovered attack on the queen. And in the game, the move chosen by Stockfish was b takes c6, giving up the queen. After bishop takes e7, the game continued as followed. Knight takes e4, queen takes e4, rook takes e7, and queen takes c6. And White went on to win with the queen in the extra pass pawn versus the two rooks. So you might be thinking, why would Stockfish just give up the queen like that? Surely the queen had some escape squares, right? Queen to d7? What about that? Well, here White has an even more decisive sequence of moves, which I'll give you an opportunity to spot. What should White play in this position? The correct way forward is rook back to d6, attacking the queen. Now anywhere that black queen goes is going to run into problems. If you go to c8, then bishop takes b7, comes with an attack on the queen, hitting the rook. Going to e7 runs into more discovered attacks. So the most critical line is queen to c7, and see if you can find White's winning move here. Correct is rook takes f6, removing the defense of h7. And if that rook were to be captured with g takes f6, I'll give you only 3 seconds to find the correct move here for White. Of course, queen to f5 threatens checkmate in a couple moves, and the only way black can avoid this is to sacrifice the queen with queen takes c5, so that the f8 square is available for the black king after queen takes h7 check. It's important to note that if the black queen had been on d7, then the move queen to f5 would have just been met with queen takes queen. That was the reason why we moved our rook back to d6 a couple moves ago, drive the queen away from that d7 square. But now I want to go back to what may be the most critical line. Back here where queen to e7 was played, allowing White the discovered attack, that was not the only square available to the black queen. In order to defeat Stockfish in this manner, you would have needed to calculate what happens after queen to c8. Take a minute to look at this position and see if you can spot White's winning continuation here. Bishop f5 is the correct way to proceed. And if the queen were to move to c7, what would you play now? g5 is the killer move. This knight is severely short on squares. It's going to be lost unless it goes anywhere but d5. And now how should White continue? Rook d7, attacking the queen, who is also pretty short on squares, but she does have b8, and now black's position looks a little passive, but maybe he's okay. What do you think White should do next? Bishop takes h7 check is a beautiful knockout blow. And objectively, black's best move here is king to h8. And how should White continue? Queen to h5 is essentially game over, setting up a nasty discovered check with bishop to g6, which will result in mate. Black has no good defense. If you want to prolong the game as long as possible, you can play knight to f4, attacking the queen, which just drops back. And you play knight to e2 check. The king moves. And then you can throw in the desperation check, knight g3 check, the knight's taken out. And here there's no stopping mate. For example, if rook e7, bishop g6 check, king g8, queen h7 check, king to f8, and queen to h8 is mate. Now I want to back up for a moment and show you one alternative line, which you also would have needed to calculate. It occurs back here where the queen went to c7. If instead, at this point, if you were to move the queen to b8, getting out of the way of that rook to d7 move, which we saw, here white wins with a different sequence of moves. As before, we want to play g5. The knight goes to d5. Now how does white proceed? So the correct move here is the immediate bishop takes h7 check. We don't play rook d7 because it doesn't do as much. It doesn't come with an attack on the queen like it did in the previous line. And suppose black takes the bishop in this line. What should white play now? In this line, queen to h5 is not working. Since there's no rook on d7, the correct move here is queen takes f7. This move threatens rook to h6 checkmate since the g-pawn is pinned, and black has no good defense. Since there's also the threat of queen to h5 check, g6. So the engine's recommending just to take out the rook. Knight f6 wouldn't help. The knight's just taken out. This pawn's pinned. There's no taking the rook. Again, threatening rook h6 checkmate. If you were to play king h8 so that this pawn is no longer pinned, there's a mate in 3 starting with queen h5 check, king g8, g6, and there's no avoiding queen to h7 checkmate. So that, my friends, is how you can defeat Stockfish in a 3-minute blitz game. Running on an average laptop, I think it was looking at around 1 million positions per second. Let me know in the comments how you did, how many of these winning moves you found, and let me know if you like this type of video. I might make more of these in the future. I think it's fun to see that Stockfish does have its limitations. If you dumb it down enough and limit its time to think, winning combinations will emerge. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for all kinds of chess-related content coming your way very soon.